It's well known that Eddie Van Halen accused Randy Rhoads of copying his style, and it's also well known that Randy Rhoads admitted to using bits of Eddie Van Halen's playing in his live solos when he was still with Quiet Riot, and Eddie Van Halen identified areas where Randy borrowed from him on Ozzy's albums as well. Now, in case you haven't heard Ed's comments for a while, let's revisit them. Here is Eddie Van Halen talking about Randy Rhoads.
Did you know Randy Rhoads? Yeah. Poor guy. He was one guitarist who was honest anyway, because I read some interviews that he did. He said that everything he did, he learned from me. And he was good. You never know, man. He might be up there jamming with Bonham and everyone else, who kicked the bucket. But I don't really think he did anything that I haven't done.
Okay, so that's what Ed had to say about Randy Rhoads. Now, I want you to listen to something that Rudy Sarzo said in regard to this controversy on whether or not Randy Rhoads copied Ed. Before I do that, I want to remind you to stick around to the very end of the video because I'm going to give you a recommendation for a really good band that you might not have heard of. It's hard rock and has some classic rock participants in it, so stick around to the very end of the video. Alright, so right now, let's listen to what Rudy Sarzo said regarding the controversy about Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen.
There was nothing really derivative about Randy. He knows about himself. And he consciously stayed away from other people's technique just because he didn't want to be associated with them. Because he wanted to stay pure to himself. So if there was a technique, let's say somebody like Eddie Van Halen was popular for playing, he would stay away from it.
Alright, there we have a direct quote from Rudy Sarzo, who played with Randy Rhoads, and he's saying that he saw Randy Rhoads consciously steer away from doing what Eddie Van Halen did. But at the same time, Randy's on record as saying that he had borrowed from Eddie Van Halen, and there are also tapes circulating of him teaching Van Halen licks to other players. Now, I have a previous video where I weighed in on this topic, and you can look it up in the archive. For purposes of this video, let's just get your input. Do you think that Randy Rhoads was tremendously inspired by Eddie Van Halen? Do you think Eddie Van Halen basically created Randy's sound like Eddie insists here? Or do you think Randy just briefly touched on Ed's style as part of his overall studying of the guitar, like Rudy's saying, and then consciously drove away from that looking for his own voice? I want you to tell me what you think down in the comment section below. And I also want you to check out a few strange facts I have about Randy Rhoads in the description box. If you're an expert on Randy's life or rock and roll trivia, check out these facts and tell me if I got any of them wrong. Every once in a while, a persistent myth gets passed on as fact, and I'm counting on you guys to tell me when something's wrong. Alright, now, like I said, I've already put my opinion forward on whether or not I think Randy Rhoads learned everything that he did from Eddie Van Halen, so the rest is now up to you. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you're enjoying the videos, you can help out the channel by clicking on the thanks button right down there below, or if you prefer, you can click on the Buy Me a Coffee link and leave a donation at the Buy Me a Coffee site. Also, if you're looking for a bit of a financial boost, click on the Capital One link down there in the description box and use their handy one-step application process to get yourself a new credit card. If you use that link, the channel will get a small bonus. Alright, now for the recommendation that I promised you of a really good hard rock band that you might not have heard of, that has two excellent veterans in it. The band is called Smith Kotzen, and it's made up of Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden and Richie Kotzen from Winery Dogs and many other bands, and they have got a great bluesy metal alternative sound going, and one of the songs that I think is really good to get started with from them is called Scars. So check out Scars by Smith Kotzen. Thanks a lot.